Locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves wrestling.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Do it with flair, baby. Woo!
Wow. I don't have that kind of energy tonight. I don't have it. Yeah, so don't pull any nonsense tonight, okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, for like the millionth time in history, the Boston Bad Boy is sick again.
Well, first of all, I'm sick of you. And secondly, yes, I'm a little under the weather.
Why? What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I get like a cough thing, like a chest thing.
Chest thing.
I need like a tussin is what I need.
Do you need a slap?
Certainly not. Certainly not from you. Certainly not from you. But referencing Ric Flair, somebody posted in the group the a Ric Flair promo from back in the day.
Sure.
And it finishes with the line, what's he say? Shut your mouth, darling. I won't take you home no matter what you said to me. which is one of the greatest lines I've ever heard.
Yeah. I'm not going home with you, darling. It doesn't matter what you say to me.
Shut your mouth.
That's right.
That's right. Very aggressive.
That's right. Listen, Ric Flair. They always try to bring him home.
Well, and then he said, I promised you all I'd be in your Christmas stockings, and Ric Flair doesn't lie,
That's
and the
right.
whole thing.
That's
That's how you sell it.
He's the man.
You don't see that anymore.
No.
And those promos are so long.
4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're just going and going.
Yep.
And you can see that he's just working off the cuff.
He pulls it right out of his
There's no
thin air.
teleprompter or anything.
Yeah.
So how is it better than the crap we're stuck with now? How has it gone backwards is what I want to know.
Because you have writers who stick their stinking nose where it doesn't belong and you have to walk people through.
Well, but is that because the talent is not as good?
Yeah, I agree. Maybe there's not enough focus on developing. Like if you and I had to cut a promo, we could do it.
Oh, I'd definitely cut a better promo than you.
Well, I don't know about that.
Without question.
Well, let's
No,
not
because you know what? You would just steal from Ric Flair, and you wouldn't do anything original. Like everything else, you would just be a thief about it, and it wouldn't be very good.
And you would be so great. Mr. wants to be Sean Connery and all these other damn things.
Listen,
you think you're James Bond.
Listen.
Right?
Listen. I'm but one man, ladies, okay? The mind is willing. The body, though, is bruised and broken.
Let's keep it PG. He's a butt man. I don't know what the hell that means.
Wow.
Welcome back to Duke Loves Wrestling. I am the Duke. And yes, I do enjoy doing pro wrestling impersonations. I'm going to keep on doing them no matter what my illustrious co-host, the Boston Bad Boy, Mike Pelosi, says.
They're awful.
I don't know about that. They're actually pretty awesome.
Here's what I hope. That one day when we reach the pinnacle of this show, and that being when we get Ric Flair on this show.
Yes.
He tells you how awful you are and says, stop doing it. I hate having you as a fan of mine. You're gone.
That would never happen.
Well,
Ric Flair, he's a fan of mine. That's right. What are the top stories in the world of professional wrestling? We're going to find out during Run the Ropes. Our main man, Sean Reed of Pugilism Co., he joins us again. He's going to talk about MMA. He's going to talk about boxing. He's a combat sports expert.
Which is great because you're an expert in nothing. So it's always nice to have you on the show.
Give me a break. All that plus more of your listener-submitted questions, a.k.a. Ask Duke. But before we get to any of that, Boston Bad Boy.
Yeah.
The French toast alert is on high demand.
It's amazing here in New England, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we've never seen a storm before.
It's true. It's true. Folks, we have our second nor'easter, which is a major storm.
Nor'easter.
During the wintertime, it's snow and rain and sleet and all kinds of mess. At least a foot of snow is going to be dropping in parts of Massachusetts. But we call it the French toast alert. Why do we call it that, Boston?
Well, it's because every idiot and their mother goes out to the grocery store and buys bread and milk.
Yes. And eggs.
Eggs. Right.
Yes. Can't make French toast.
Here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. It's one thing if you're low on food. We've all been sure. We pushed that deadline of food shopping a little too far.
Sure.
But what do you need 4 loaves of bread for? For a store. Listen, the problem is the blizzard of '78 in Boston, in the Massachusetts area, knocked out power for weeks for people.
Yep.
Because it was 1978, and we didn't have modern technology. We didn't have the plows we have now. Everybody thinks that we're stuck in time. And that's going to happen again. It's not possible for it to happen again.
No.
It's insane.
We had it worse than 78 in what? Was that 2014 or 2015?
2015.
And we made it.
Yeah.
We were fine.
Stop buying bread. How much milk are you drinking?
First of all, I'm not going to buy bread. I'm going to buy crackers. Okay? You know why? Because they're not going to perish anytime soon.
Well, that's even more ridiculous.
No,
Perish.
it's smarter.
A loaf of bread lasts a week. What are you doing with a loaf of bread beyond that?
I know. A good
What do you need crackers for beyond that? What are you going on a voyage around the world?
I like Ritz
What are you,
crackers.
Robinson Crusoe?
Are you a Ritz crackers or are you a saltine guy?
Oh, first of all, I'm a saltine guy, but I am a premium saltines. The premium kind. The crispy. Crispy is no good in my book.
Huh? Wow.
Premium is the ultimate saltine cracker because they're always very crisp, very light.
Interesting.
And just the right amount of salt.
See, I'm a Ritz cracker fan because it's a little buttery.
I'm a club cracker man.
Oh, club cracker. You went from all the way over there. Huh?
Yeah, because Ritz to me is a little too artificially buttery tasting, and the club is nice because you can put a nice square piece of cheese on it.
I don't like the club.
The Ritz, I'm fighting with the circle. It's a whole thing.
I like the Ritz. But which side do you put the topping on? Do you do the salt side? Do you do the back side?
I do the salt side.
I do the salt side too. And somebody told me that I was wrong.
No, I hate to agree with you, but yeah, the salt side's where the business is at.
That's it.
They've already started the topping for you.
It's true.
And the salt, like if you're putting maybe a peanut butter on a saltine, it's something to adhere to.
I do the peanut butter and jelly.
On the
Ritz.
saltine?
On the Ritz.
On the
not
Ritz.
The
See, that to me is
Ritz.
too sweet because the Ritz is a bit too sweet. The saltine is salty. It's got that nice contrast.
Yeah, but I do like
to the sweet.
apricot. I like the apricot.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What? I like apricot jelly. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What about pepper jelly? I like pepper jelly.
I want you to put on a pair of trousers and act like a man and eat your crackers like a man. That's what I want.
Folks, only on Duke Loves Rasslin, we cover everything from pro wrestling and everything else. We don't care. We're talking about Ritz crackers and saltines.
Pro to premium crackers.
That's right.
Brother.
That's right.
What about a soda cracker? I know it's a little bit different.
A little different. I like oyster crackers over the soda crackers.
A little dry, though. You need to be able to put them in your stew or your chowder.
Yeah, chowder, of course.
I'm not a big chowder fan, but I do like the oyster crackers.
I love chowder.
Really?
I
don't see you as a chowder person.
I do the chowder fest.
Well, you like going to events.
Yes,
even if you don't like
that's
the
my
chowder.
life. Yeah, of course. But I love chowder.
Really? I can't get into chowder. It's the dairy with the fish. I can't do it.
You know who makes a good chowder? First of all, Legal Seafood. I'm okay with them being the official place. If you want New England clam chowder,
I can't stand
Legal's. Is fine.
Legal's the worst restaurant chain in history.
Stop it right now. I don't agree. But the No Name restaurant. Most people don't even know about No Name.
I know about
the No Name restaurant.
Yeah.
They make a good everything.
They make a good everything. I've been there a long time. I gotta go there soon.
They're still there. Free parking.
Still free parking.
Still free parking.
Wow.
See that? I'm telling you. Yeah.
So now can we move the show
now
along?
We've covered everything about food, folks. Let's run the ropes. It's time to run the ropes. It's when I educate this knucklehead Boston bad boy in the top 5 stories in the world of professional wrestling. Let's go. Vince McMahon on the richest Americans list. That's right. Boston bad boy, Forbes magazine. You know, every year they come out with the list of the richest Americans. Vince McMahon's on the list at $1.5 billion with a B dollars.
Well, it just goes to prove that money can't buy class or creativity.
I'm sick of this guy already, all right? I don't give a damn how sick he is. The fact that he's disrespecting my good friend.
Hang on.
No, don't give me your cooties. The fact that he's disrespecting my friend Vincent Kennedy McMahon, I don't like that. And Vince, you have enough money. I want you to buy the Boston bad boy, and then I want you to torture him.
He couldn't afford me.
No, I'm pretty sure he can afford you. He can buy your entire life, pal. All right. New WWE titles. That's right, folks. It's going to debut possibly at WrestleMania, but if not at WrestleMania, definitely right after. Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships.
Oh, that's not been done before?
It doesn't exist in the WWE. The last time you saw that was in WCW back in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Now, what kind of horrible money grab is this going to be?
Well, you know they have 205 Live, which is his own show dedicated to the cruiserweights, and they only have one champion.
So they need to get more people out
there.
Well,
because it gives people more of an opportunity to be featured in a more prominent manner.
I will say with this cold in my voice, I can get down low.
There's no one that you're not Barry White. I'm trying to cut a spot, Tony.
When we make love and take love.
Stop it. This guy's out of his mind. Alberto Del Rio meets with Vince McMahon. Yes, Boston bad boy, this is crazy here.
Well, not any more crazy than it has been with this guy.
Well, here's the thing. Vince McMahon has never had a problem with Alberto. They've always liked each other.
All right.
Alberto is like a Latino $1 Million Man character. It's like an updated $1 Million Man.
All right.
And we know that the $1 Million Man was based on Vince McMahon. That's why Vince created that character.
Because he's a total megalomaniac.
Well, it was a mirror of himself.
So he wished.
So Alberto is the next version of that.
Okay.
Handsome, dashing, tan, muscle.
Everything that
beat everybody.
Everything that Vince McMahon is not.
Well, stop it right now.
We call it the wishful thinking man.
So Alberto has a problem with Triple H, obviously. He has a problem with the company in general, but he always had respect for Vince because Vince always respected him. So they met with each other. There was a possibility Alberto could come back. Now, we posted that in Duke's Rasslin crew, and most people were not happy with this.
Really?
And I don't understand it because Alberto's one of my favorites, first of all. The WWE is in need of a Latino male wrestler who can, grab that market.
Yeah.
Because CN is almost there in NXT, but he's not there yet. Alberto's perfect for that role. And he's a great wrestler.
All right.
But the whole Paige thing, people are a little concerned about that.
They need to cut her loose.
I agree.
You know what? That solves all the problems.
You know what she did? She got a tattoo that has a curse on it. And she put it on her arm.
What kind of... Listen,
where people can see.
What was the curse?
I don't remember. It was something stupid.
So it's a curse word?
Yeah, it's a curse word.
What kind of and I was going to say woman, but I guess that comes off as sexist. But what kind of a person with any kind of class would do that?
Well, somebody who wants to get fired.
Well, but it's on your body.
It is on your body.
Regardless of what your career is and what you do, when you take a shower in the morning, there it is looking at you.
Yeah. Well, her point is it's on my body. It's my body. Do whatever I want.
Yeah, and you're an effing idiot. Well, how about that? That's what my opinion is about you and your body.
Be nice.
She's an effing idiot.
Stop it. Anyway, Alberto, folks, before you judge him, just remember, he was the victim. Yeah. Okay?
And
she abused him.
Cut her loose. Bring him back. Everybody. It solves all the problems.
I would love that. I would love that.
It solves all the problems except for the other sexual harassment claims against Vince McMahon.
Stop it. He's just going downhill. Hillbilly Jim going to the Hall of Fame. Do you remember Hillbilly Jim?
I do, vaguely.
Wasn't he awesome with the overalls?
The whole bit.
He had the hat, the big beard, the ZZ Top style beard. But he was a huge dude, dude, and just everyone loved him.
Well, it harkens back to the simple gimmicks.
Yes,
and clear cut gimmicks, like Hillbilly Jim. Obviously, he's a hillbilly.
He's a hillbilly.
You know,
he played the fiddle.
$1 million man.
Yeah.
He wears the suit with the dollar signs.
He's a rich man. That's
He's
right.
a rich man.
See?
What are these guys doing today? Your nemesis, Roman Reigns.
I don't know what
is his bit.
I don't know what his bit is.
Other than his name is Roman Reigns.
You know what? If he played off of his Samoan heritage a little bit more, I would respect him more.
If he's Roman Reigns, why isn't he a Roman centurion?
That's a good point.
The feather, the hat with the thing, and the spear, and the...
He should come out like a king.
He should come out on a chariot.
Yeah.
With the horses.
See?
Why not?
You wrote the gimmick. That's it. Boom.
What I'm saying is, are we too cool for that now? What is the thinking about not having these simple gimmicks?
Over 30 years later, we still know who Hillbilly Jim is. Exactly. Think about that.
Is anyone going to remember Roman Reigns?
Probably not.
All these other guys who just use guys' names or female names.
No one's going to remember them. That's it.
Generic.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Because what they're counting on, the gimmick created an image in the fan's mind, where the fan gave more of a backstory to it than they even showed.
You didn't have to think.
You didn't have to think, but it's also like, oh, Hillbilly Jim, I wonder what he's he's moonshining, he's out hanging in the woods.
Dancing to the fiddle.
Whatever.
That's it.
They never had to show that.
No,
but you built this in your mind, and now you remember it.
Yep.
Roman Reigns, just some guy named Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. What does he do? What does he do? Other than be
John
a
Cena.
punk. Other
John
than be
Cena.
A punk.
What does he do? John Cena. Nothing.
Well, hustle, he wears a lot of and respect.
He wears a lot of dungarees that are too short.
Why?
Like pedal pushers. Why is he wearing them?
Would you stop
And a lot of does he wear elbow pads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I mean, you never saw Hulk Hogan wear elbow pads. I'll say that.
Move on. Shout out to Hillbilly Jim. Congratulations. The number one story in the world of professional wrestling is, this is unfortunate, Jonathan Coachman named in an ESPN sexual harassment case. So he was over there, ESPN, after being with the WWE for many years, and then abruptly he leaves ESPN. WWE hires him back. Well, it came out this week. He's been named in a sexual harassment case.
Interesting.
Now, here's where it gets kind of weird. He allegedly tried to make friends with the lady like he was going to be her mentor. And then she was warned that he sexually harassed other people, like he was grooming her. And then she told him she wasn't interested, and then he left her alone. Did he harass her if that's all that happened?
Was he a superior of hers?
No, but he was trying to take on a mentor role. Okay. So he had some juice, and he was like, all right, you're new to the company, so come over here, and I'll help you out. But then he started sending her personal messages, like, what kind of music you listen to, and all this kind of stuff.
So she says no thanks.
Yep. And allegedly, he leaves her alone. That's what's in the court documents.
Interesting.
That's been released thus far. But is there more to the story?
Well, I feel like there'd have to be, right?
So
that seems a little light for...
Sure. She's claiming that other people have harassed her, and she named them and talked a little bit more in-depthly about what they did, and she said the company didn't do anything about it. That's what the...
Well, I totally believe a company as big as ESPN...
Well, they got a lot of problems.
They got a lot of problems.
And they got a history of this.
Exactly. And they've got a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
And they don't seem to be very good at it.
No.
So
no.
I believe 100% that something not going on right there.
But is Coach... Because Coach was named.
Now, is this the guy that's involved with the bullying thing, too?
No. Coach, well, yeah, kind of. He would talk about how Vince McMahon would yell at him, and he would take it. That's why Vince kept him around. Vince loved him because Vince could just chew him out. Even though he's mad at somebody else, he would chew out Coach.
Well, here's a guy that comes from an environment that fosters this kind of relationship between co-workers and potentially supervisors and underlings, goes over to ESPN, which already off the rails, as we know from various other stories, tries to bring that methodology, and guess what? Bite you right in the ass.
Stop it.
Bite you right in the ass.
We don't know if that's necessarily true.
Allegedly, bite you right in the ass.
I will say this, though. Jonathan Coachman, if you are exonerated, then we will shout that out to the hills for you, pal. But if you are wrong in this situation, shame on you. You've heard what I think. Now, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you think I'm a jerk? Maybe something in between? Head over to Facebook. Head over to Twitter. Type in Duke Loves Rasslin and let me know. Up next, our combat sports specialist. We're talking about my main man, Sean Reed.
This is former WWE superstar Al Snow and magician to the blind. You're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
So Reed, let's jump right into this deal here, man. Showtime Boxing, this Deontay Wilder guy. I need to know about this dude because I haven't been following boxing as much as I should. I'm going to admit that. I only watch the big fights. But I know the last fight he had where he beat the hell out of the dude, literally the ref had to pull him off. What happened this past weekend, though?
Deontay fought a very skilled Cuban fighter by the name of Luis Ortiz. And for the first 4 rounds, Ortiz's skill level, his know-how, it shined as bright as day. But the thing with Wilder, he's abundantly flawed from a technical perspective, but he has awe-inspiring power. He's also 6'7". He's built like LeBron James. He's a tall, very lean-built guy. He's athletic. He has good hand speed, and that great equalizer is his power. If whatever he hits, he destroys, and it usually takes no more than about one shot to either change the course of a fight or completely render his opponent unconscious. In this case, he caught Ortiz with a pawing jab and then a thunderous right hand, which dropped Ortiz, and from the remainder of the fight, it became a slugfest, and the more powerful puncher won out.
Let me see if I can put this in a historical perspective, because when I see Wilder in the ring, he reminds me, as far as his build is concerned, he's like a slightly skinnier Lennox Lewis, but he has Mike Tyson knockout power. Was that a correct characterization?
Lennox had power also, but you're right. He's tall. Wilder's 6'7". But you can't. He's defying all the rules and logic of boxing. He has no technical wherewithal, hardly at all. I've seen some quotes on the internet. One guy said he's the best bad boxer ever. Not bad as in he sucks. Not bad as in he sucks, but just you're a boxing trainer and you want to point to fighters that your up-and-coming guy should mimic. He's the last guy you'd want your guy to mimic.
Yeah.
I've also heard a quote saying that Wilder, he's the kid who knows all the answers on the tests. He just can't show you his work on how he knows the answers, but yet he knows the answers. He's that guy. That's exactly who he is.
You know, it's funny when Boston Bad Boy and I were kids. A lot of times the teachers literally would say, "Show us how you got the answer." So you're absolutely right. Wilder would fail that part of it 100%, but he would always get to the right answer in the end.
I fail that part continually, yet I still am stuck here doing the show with you.
Yeah, well, that's your punishment.
And my only reprieve is when we have experts like Reed come on and give us something interesting to punctuate your blathering.
Well, he's here because I can't count on you to give me any information.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's what it is.
Sit down. Lil' Kim accompanied Wilder to the ring. What's the deal with this? And tell me how you feel about it, because I remember when Justin Bieber accompanied Floyd Mayweather to the ring before, too. Is this a thing that makes sense to you, where you're mixing in the top stars from entertainment and music in with the boxing? Is this just to get more eyes on it, or is there something else going on?
In some cases, it's a genuine relationship between the fighter and the rapper or singer or actress or what have you. I think the Floyd Bieber thing was manufactured. Floyd had just come out of his jail stint, if I'm not mistaken, for making a terroristic threat and putting his hands on one of his children's mother. And I mean, who's less threatening than Justin Bieber? So you put this.
I'd say Duke, but you know,
stop it.
You put Floyd with his shady image, and you mix him with Bieber. That makes him appear a little more wholesome than probably he actually is. Now, and mind you, I'm a guy. I love gimmick entrances. I'm a bells and whistles guy.
Sure.
Pomp and circumstance, call it whatever you want, and maybe it's the wrestling fan in me, but I love it when the fighters come out with the rapper leading the way. Maybe they're singing along to the song, dancing, shaking their ass, whatever. I love it. I love it.
Well, that's because you grew up with Rocky IV and Apollo's great entrance at the beginning of that with James Brown and the whole bit.
James Brown.
There's no
America, baby.
Once you've seen that, there's really no going back for what the spectacle.
No,
yeah, exactly.
Hey, on that note, remember in wrestling, one of the cool ones, I forget the band's name, but back in the Attitude Era, when D-Generation X had their song "Break It Down."
Oh, I love it.
It was called.
Love it. Yeah.
During one of the WrestleManias, they had the actual band there playing the song. It was an awesome entrance.
Sure.
I'll never forget it.
Sure. Triple H and X-Pac were going nuts, too, with that band playing live. I remember that. Of course.
Sure.
Of course. So switching up here to MMA, because we know, folks, Reed is a combat sports journalist and really an authority figure on it as far as knowing what's going on. So if we jump to MMA, Cris Cyborg, this woman is literally tearing up the UFC. She's beaten anyone and everything that's going around here, and she's on a collision course to meet up with Amanda Nunes. Talk to us about Cyborg. What's her deal? Should she even be sanctioned?
I mean, I'm assuming that she's passing all of the tests. I think that Nunes is really the only viable opponent for her. And not to be funny, but may the best man win that relationship. Battle.
Wow.
But, I mean, what else? There's no one else. I believe they mismanaged the women's division. Instead of putting Ronda in with Nunes right after Holly, they should have given Ronda some soft touches. But now they're left with, I mean, I think Holly and Cyborg just fought, unanimous decision, fairly mundane fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Really the only fight they have is Nunes against Cyborg, which would be, just from a competitive aspect, it'd probably be the most fan-friendly woman's fight ever in terms of the respect level that people will have for their skills versus what we'll see in the ring. I can't wait.
Sure. And I'm a big Amanda Nunes fan. I just love the way that she talks trash, because there's no doubt about it. She can back it up.
They're both scary, brother. They're two of the scariest women. I made my little comment earlier, but I don't want any drama with either one. That's real.
And I think Nunes' significant other, she's a fighter as well. So, I mean, can you imagine that household? Anyone has a problem, they might have to mix it up. They probably have their own octagon in there. Who knows? But
now, that's what's crazy to me, Duke. Like, Cyborg is straight. It's like, whoa. Like, you're married, like a guy married you?
He better take out the trash if he knows what's good for him.
Right.
I know that much.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's just, and I mean, most fighters aren't good looking because they're fighters.
Sure.
It boggles my mind that it would make more sense if she were gay. but she isn't.
No.
You know,
I mean, it is what it is.
You know, it's funny you say that about fighters and their looks. I was on the last season of the Grand Tour, which is on Amazon, which is the guys from Top Gear. They did a bit where they have celebrities face off and drive each other, and they had Goldberg drive against Anthony Joshua. He's a British heavyweight fighter.
Yeah.
Yes. He's on a collision course with Deontay Wilder.
That's right.
Yeah, so they did this interview, and I'm like, this guy, young kid, he's going to be a good fighter because he looked all put together. The guy could be a model. He's like 6'5", and I said, wow, it must really be that the worse fighter you are, potentially, the worse you look. But is that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the guys who took beatings for long careers, and, you know, and maybe the women too, I know that you have a problem with it, but, you know, that, you know, it doesn't last long if you start losing.
Well, I mean, you have to bear in mind these guys are making millions of dollars, so they can get 2 or 3 teeth replaced.
That's a good point.
So they're getting
a lot of work.
They're getting a fix-up after every time.
They can get that nose straightened out if it's broken. So,
that's right.
You know, the risk and the reward is there for them to make themselves still look pretty at the end of the day.
And I think at the end of that, I think AJ won that one just because he probably weighs half of what Goldberg weighs in the car. So I think he had a faster lap time.
There it is. There it is. So Reed, you know I got to ask you about him. Jon Bones Jones. Every time you're on, I got to ask you about him. We got some new news out there that he's been suspended from one testing organization. Right? What happened recently?
The California Commission, they revoked his license, and they fined him over $200,000. And the way that works, typically, if one commission revokes your license, usually all the rest of them in the United States will honor that, which means not only can he not fight in the UFC, but he wouldn't even be able to go to Bellator and fight unless he fought out of the country, which at that point, now you're delegitimizing yourself even further, and would it even be worth it? But I don't know if you guys heard, Miesha Tate came out and was like, look, you know, I loved him when he fought, but I'm tired of giving this guy second and third and fourth chances.
Yeah, she jumped off his bandwagon. Yep.
Right, but then he claps back at her, well, hey, I've never been a quitter, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, bro, just unless you can show me how you're innocent, don't give me this it wasn't me crap. Just sit back and take your medicine, and especially don't go hard on a female.
Exactly.
For saying something that most of us feel. I mean, I agreed with Miesha. And I love Bones to death, but enough is enough.
So is this guy just is he lacking class, or is he just immature? Like, what is Jon Bones Jones' problem? Because I'll tell you right now, Reed, he's one of the main reasons why I respect Daniel Cormier so much. Because when I compare the two, Cormier, his whole demeanor is just that of an adult, grown man, takes responsibility. Even when he talks about other fighters, there's a lot of respect involved in what have you. Meanwhile, Bones Jones, he's kind of a jerk.
He's not kind of one. I think he is one, Duke. And I hate to say that, but here's the deal with Bones. He's always been accused of being fake. Well, so basically he's putting on a front. I think with him, in some cases, people become so good at lying that they believe they're lying. So when he clapped back at Miesha, in his mind he's thinking, no, I didn't fail this test. Well, no, you failed the test, bro. He's trapped in his own reality, his own morbid, twisted reality. And until he's honest with himself, he'll never get out of it.
And he's one step away from doing those unsanctioned fight where they dip their hands into broken glass, you know what I mean, somewhere in some third world country.
Kumite.
Right. He'll be what was the movie with Van Damme where he traveled over?
Is that Bloodsport?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
There we go. He's a step from Bloodsport.
Unbelievable. We're talking to Sean Reed from Pugilism Co. here. Now, Reed, Ronda Rousey, she finally made her big splash in the WWE. She picked up Triple H and threw him through a table. She did a Samoan job to Stephanie McMahon. So now she's going to be in a match where Rousey and Kurt Angle are going to take on Triple H and Stephanie. In your opinion, for the first match for Rousey, does it make sense to put her in this tag team deal here where she's being so protected? Or would it have made more sense to put her in a one-on-one match with someone?
It makes perfect sense to me. You give her the name recognition of a legend like Triple H. You give her a female who everyone knows that she could beat up for real, than Stephanie McMahon. What's the Asian lady's name? Is it Oscar?
Oscar, you got it. You
can't put Rousey in with her right away. You don't want to put her in with the Nature Girl right away.
Yep.
Because, for one, there may be some jealousy with those ladies, and they may, even though it's scripted, they may do something that makes Ronda look silly in the ring.
True.
And then you don't know what Ronda will do.
She might kill him. She might kill him.
So, this, to me, it's best. Let her get her feet wet. Let her kind of refine her technique. Put her in a situation where Triple H can babysit her for sure. Stephanie's never really. I remember Shane McMahon kind of became a reputable wrestler of some sort.
Sure.
But I don't recall Stephanie ever really doing the training to that degree. So, to me, it's the perfect setup. It's the perfect setup.
Well, I think while that's true as far as protecting, I think they have to be careful because I think they have a finite amount of time before this big story becomes passé. I think I think Rousey's very quickly going to become just another number in the organization, and I think that if they babysit her too long and don't give the fans what they want to see, which is that danger of her potentially snapping and breaking someone's neck, I think that they could really misplay that, and it'll be one of those things where she'll within a few months feel underused or underutilized, and it'll just fizzle out.
I don't know, Mr. Bad Boy. For one, you have the natural tie-in with Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Boo. I'm not a fan of that, first of all.
I love it.
They could milk that.
Besmirching a legend.
Stop it.
For a money grab.
Stop it.
Continue.
They could work that angle for a while. And then they could write in her losing her mind. She could become the female version of Randy Orton. This loose cannon running around. They could easily write that in for her, but let her get a few months to perfect the few wrestling moves that she's going to use, and then go from there. And I'd like to say, remember when we last talked, you thought it was just going to be a one-off deal. So give her some credit. Apparently she's going to be there for the long haul.
No, she signed a full contract.
Listen, the WWE contracts. It's not worth the paper they're written on. I still think there's a potential if this is a flash in the pan. It may not be the one-off as I predicted because I'm not going to admit I was wrong there, but it may not last a full year. So that's what my new prediction is. We're not even going to go a full year with it.
You're a mess.
Also, to bring up Cyborg, I read an article where she said she would come to WWE to fight Ronda. Obviously, she's desperate for money, but that's yet another angle they could play if and when it gets to the point where Ronda's act is becoming tired.
Well, when you got the WWE throwing around $1 million, $1.5 million, plus you get a cut on the merchandising and what have you, sure. I bet everybody would like to jump in there and get that money.
Right. Holly Holm, Nunez, they'll all try to get over there at that rate.
Yeah. Now, Reed, we had something interesting happen 2 weeks ago here on the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast. We had UFC Hall of Famer Dan the Beast Severin. He came on the show, and he shared his opinion on a number of different topics there. As you know, not only is Dan a UFC, he's a Hall of Famer, and he was champion and what have you, but he also made it to the WWE, and he was the NWA champion as a pro wrestler. Now, Severin had a lot to say about his old rival, Ken Shamrock. He called him a sham, steroid head. He said that he would love to fight him one more time because he just can't stand the man. And I know Ken Shamrock, he's going to be appearing on the show to answer that challenge and give his take on Severin. In your opinion, because you're a guy who's been doing this for a while and you're an expert on combat sports in general, do you think in 2018 there is an appetite for a Dan the Beast Severin, Ken Shamrock Part 3?
I think there is, but they would have to go all out with it. Just create in golf they have a seniors tour. Let's do something like that. Now, I don't know if they're talking about in the wrestling environment.
No, they're talking about a fight. Definitely Severin wants to punch him in the face.
Okay. Well, let's go all the way with it. Let's have Severin versus Shamrock, 4 or 8 or 12? How many times have they fought?
This will be the third time if they make this happen.
Okay. Let's also go Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz.
Oh, yeah.
Let's whip out Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, but let's put them all on the same card.
Oh, that's the promoter in you, Reed. So you want to get all of get a Hoist Gracie in there too. You want to get all the classic guys on the same card, huh?
And by getting all those guys together, you can get the senior discount at IHOP.
Oh,
so when they all go out for breakfast,
what the heck?
it'll cut the overhead. Again, I'm thinking like a promoter too. I'm cutting the overhead.
Do you know what Dan the Beast Severn would do to you if he was here right now?
Oh, I have no doubt.
Okay,
I would be able to talk him into knocking your head off.
Yeah, all right, here we go. But that's a good point though, Reed.
Right, to make it worthwhile, would I buy a pay-per-view that just consisted of Severn versus Shamrock, today's version? Probably not. But if you put 2 or 3 of those other epic feuds from MMA all on the same card, yeah, I'm in.
I mean, the nice thing about the seniors tour in golf is there's usually not a chance one of them is going to die. So this would definitely be a lot more. There's a lot more interest in this. I agree with you. If you could get a bunch of guys up there,
what promotion do you think would have the appetite for something like that?
I think Bellator. UFC wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Unfortunately, and these are all their Hall of Famers. That's the funny part. They could market this as a one night only UFC Hall of Fame deal here.
Sure, no, they could. And Dana's he's too proud for his own britches, I guess, for lack of a better term. But Bellator would jump all over that, and I'm pretty sure none of those guys are still under contract or anything.
No,
so I say go for it. I would watch.
Wow. Well, you hear that, Ken Shamrock. I mean, I know that Severn and Shamrock tried to fight before, and Shamrock pulled out, said he was injured. Ken, when you come on the show, we're going to talk about it. And you heard Sean Reed say it, man. There is an appetite out there if we can pull together a full card of various feuds. And we can put Severn and Shamrock at the top of that card there because, they are the 2 top legends there. They're still 2 of the biggest names in MMA history, even to this day. But it would be nice to see that happen sooner rather than later. That's for damn sure there.
The clock is ticking on both of those guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Severn is he's over 60, I believe. So that's a thing. That's a thing. Reed, you got anything else for us? Anything that we should be on the lookout for the next couple of weeks?
I will be in San Antonio this weekend for the Mikey Garcia-Sergey Lipinets fight. It's for the 140-pound division title. Mikey, he's one of the 10 best fighters in the world. The fight will be on Showtime. Please check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Good stuff. And folks want to read some of your stuff there. Where can they reach that?
Please check us out. It's Pugilism Company, spelled PUGILISMCO, abbreviated.com.
Good stuff.
I'm Sean Reed. Please call me Reed.
That's right. His name is Sean Reed, a.k.a. Reed. Thank you for joining us again, brother.
Anytime, gentlemen, anytime.
See? An expert. It's a nice change of pace around here.
This is what I have a problem with you, Boston Bad Boy. Okay? You don't have to praise our guests by crapping on me every time they come on.
You know what? You're right, because you do a good enough job of crapping on yourself when you wear a fanny pack and make this show look bad.
Listen.
So the fact that I even allowed a legitimate guest like Reed to come on this show so soon after you besmirched this entire show by presenting yourself like a fool, you should be thanking me. That's all I'm going to say.
I just want you to know that I was wearing my fanny pack on the MBTA. That's our transit system for folks who are not from the Massachusetts area.
What is wrong with you?
And I had a lot of folks, especially the older ladies.
Yeah.
It was a conversation piece.
Yeah, because they probably think you have mental problems. They probably think they thought you did you just step out of a time capsule? Because it's not 1992
Back
anymore.
Back to the future, baby. That's right.
You're going nowhere.
But they enjoyed it.
Your future's nowhere,
They
Jack.
enjoyed it, okay? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You got to get with the times, Boston Bad Boy. What's old is new again.
You talk about Ric Flair. Yep. Ric Flair wasn't going after the old ladies. Let me put it to you that way. If that's the best you can do, you're a long way from Ric Flair. Woo!
Well, he has more hair than I still to this day.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot more things than you've got.
That's the way it is. Folks, up next, we have some of your listener-submitted content, a.k.a. Ask Duke. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Daniel Richards, the progressive liberal. I want you to remember to vote Democrat, turn this country around, continue listening to one of the best out there, the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast.
All right, Boston Bad Boy, what do you have for us this week for Ask Duke?
Well, we have a special one tonight.
Okay.
One of our great listeners on the line. I want to do a little something interactive today.
This is different. Now, wait. Did you clear this with me before you decided you're going to do this thing here?
Absolutely not.
This is what I don't understand about you. You keep trying to reinvent the wheel.
You know what it is?
What?
I'm exhausted because I'm a little under the weather, and I just don't have the energy to verbally assault you for the rest of the show. So I thought I'd bring someone else on to help me out with that.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if they're rude,
that being
I'm going to
said,
straighten them out.
Please welcome Beatrice to the show.
Oh,
and she has a problem with Jason Jordan, apparently.
Beatrice. Oh, you know something? We do need to get to the bottom of this. Folks, this is one of our favorite listeners here, Beatrice. We got to talk about this here because you've been running down WWE superstar, a.k.a. Kurt Angle's baby boy, Jason Jordan, for a while now. What's that all about?
He whines entirely too much.
Oh, so he's like Duke then.
Stop it. Stop it right now. Listen, why are you acting like you're his mama or something like that? So what if he whines? What's wrong with that?
He whines too much. Stand on your own 2 feet. You don't need to run to your daddy for everything. Quit whining.
Whoa. Now, and you made some comments about how you'd like to spank him and all this other nonsense.
Whoa.
Listen,
this is a family show.
Well, I don't know. She really has a problem with this guy. Don't you think that he's come a long way? I mean, he was in NXT. He didn't have much going on. Then they put him.
Don't get me wrong. He's a great wrestler. I'm not taking that from him. But stand on your own 2 feet. He whines too much. Daddy, I need to have this match. Daddy, you don't understand.
Now, isn't this whole daddy thing kayfabe anyway? Isn't this a gimmick?
Well, I don't know if that's true because, Kurt Angle, he does like a little of the flavor there. So, and Jason Jordan, he does look like he could, have a mixture that makes Jason Jordan. But Kurt Angle, being his daddy and also being the GM of Raw, that's a pretty big advantage for Jason Jordan. So I think Beatrice is just picking on him because maybe she wants somebody else to get some opportunities on Raw.
Yes, I do, but I'm not picking on him. Earn your spot, regardless of whether your dad is Kurt Angle, the GM, or if your dad was Vince McMahon. Stop whining.
Wow.
It's just that simple.
Do you hear what she says about this poor guy?
Well, I like the fact that, she's going to besmirch Vince McMahon next. So.
No, she's not going to besmirch Vince McMahon next. I'm not going to put up with that. Now, Beatrice, you have a habit of celebrating Braun Strowman in his favorite catchphrase there. What's that catchphrase that he has there?
Get these hands.
So what is it about that phrase that you like so much?
I guess it's, with me growing up with 6 brothers, I'm a tomboy at heart, and Braun is from my home state of North Carolina. So guess what? Country boy, and I'm a country girl. Get these hands.
Oh, okay. So now, can Jason Jordan get these hands?
If he don't stop that whining, yes, he can get the hands.
Wow. Her name is Beatrice. I'm going to get out of here before I get these hands.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, actually.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
All right, Boston Bad Boy. So you had a guest there in Beatrice who doesn't like Jason Jordan, which I'm not really a fan of.
The hands.
Catch these hands. She's always threatening to whoop somebody.
I certainly hope it comes to you at some point.
That's a North Carolina thing where she wants to.
Down south, they're a little.
Yeah,
it's old school.
Handsy. They're handsy. You know what I mean? That's
and not in the way you want.
No. Listen, Beatrice, I don't want any problems from you. I already have a mom. I don't need another mom straightening me out.
Yeah, you need someone to straighten you out.
I don't know about that.
You know who's going to straighten you out? I'm going to straighten you out right now.
Why?
Because we're going to do my question.
Oh my Buddha!
Because I don't like the rest of these questions that you wrote here and these people. No more. Beatrice, it's a real person's name. I'm not going with the rogues gallery.
I'm still a little upset
listeners.
that you put her on the phone and you didn't tell me about it.
Listen, I run things around here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'm the captain.
So get used to it.
Yeah.
So this actually, we touched a little bit on this a little bit before with one of our previous guests about the WWE Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And there's an actual wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Of course, shout out to all the crews out there.
That's right. So there's a Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame and there's a WWE Hall of Fame, okay? So we talked about it that some people are in some and some people are in the other. And so recently, Honky Tonk Man, which I think is, again, one of my most favorite gimmicks.
Yeah, but I don't like the Honky Tonk Man.
Listen, I don't know the guy from Adam, but let me tell you, hitting somebody over the head with a guitar will never not be funny.
Okay.
So Honky Tonk Man recently made statements regarding the WWE Hall of Fame. And he's saying it's not a real Hall of Fame. And it's something that we've heard a lot. We've heard some folks say it. Some folks have said it on this show. They don't know what goes into it. I think Lenny was mentioning it last time he was on the show. What's the deal with it? Some people are in one, you're not in the other. So explain to me once and for all, because you're a fanboy of the WWE, what is the process for someone to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame?
Okay, well, right around, maybe about WrestleMania, right after WrestleMania, Vince McMahon, he goes to his most trusted advisors within the company.
Which is nobody but himself.
Stop it. And then he says to them, start thinking about next year's Hall of Fame and give me some names. Who do you think should be in it, right? So people submit their names and to Vince, and they give him reasons why they think so-and-so should be in. And in the end, Vince McMahon makes his decision on who is going to be inducted for the next year.
So just to be clear here, one guy decides who's in and who's not in. Most Hall of Fames, other sports, basketball, baseball, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, have a committee that elects who gets in. The people are nominated, and then there's a committee. How open or closed it is, that's the way it works. But here, it's just Vince.
Well, Vince does solicit suggestions, okay? So it's not like he's just willy-nilly. People who he trusts submit names.
Oh, get out of here.
And then
first of all, we know he doesn't trust anybody, because here's what the big problem with that is. What if you're one of these guys that worked for Vince, and then Vince has a problem with you because maybe you didn't kiss his ass to his brand of liking.
All right.
And so I've looked at the Hall of Fame list. We know that dotard Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. Let's start there, if that's not reason enough.
Well, he was a big investor in the company.
Let's see. Vince McMahon's former driver is in the WWE Hall of Fame to drive his limo.
All right.
Everybody.
I know where this is going.
Driver, as in drive my limo. The Godfather?
All right.
And meanwhile, veterans like Tex Green is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. Just as an example. There's many more.
Okay.
So you explain that to me. Why is it that, you're just on, Vince McMahon's personal, pat you on the bum list, and that's what gets you in the WWE Hall of Fame? Is that how it works?
Why
the wink and a nod?
So derogatory about this?
Because it's ridiculous.
No, you're being ridiculous.
This guy perpetuates the fact that he runs a legitimate business, and nothing about it is legitimate. Nothing from this business, top to bottom. And this whole Hall of Fame BS is another indication of the sickness within. That it's just it's an old boys club, and Vince makes hey, that guy makes a really good martini. Put him in the WWE Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, guys who and men and women who have sacrificed their body and their careers to work for Vince and to make the sport what it is and what it has been get no love.
That's offensive, first of all.
Yeah, it is offensive.
It's not
offensive.
No, it's not
disgusting.
About who makes a good martini. Give me a friggin' break for a second.
He drives. He was so
You're
gentle.
Make me swear on the show, and I don't even swear like that.
He was so gentle driving my limousine.
No, stop it right now. First of all, his driver had been a loyal employee to the company for decades, okay? And he just wanted to do something nice in the memory of this guy.
Here's what it is.
That's first of all, okay?
The WWE Hall of Fame is the ultimate slap in the face for pro wrestling. It's because there's no semblance of the workers voting for the workers, their peers, and the other people they worked with. Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon alone decides who will be honored and made immortal. He will cast his hand down upon you and make you into the WWE Hall of Fame. And it's ridiculous because he's obviously only choosing his favorites. He's an egomaniac. And this is completely effed up, just like everything else, like I said, with this company.
I just don't understand you sometimes, because what you have to understand is it's a very prestigious honor. Everyone is working towards getting into the WWE Hall of Fame, because once you hit that, that's it, brother.
You know what I'm thinking?
You're set for life.
I'm thinking I'm going to work towards visiting the WWE Hall of Fame. Can you tell me where it is?
There is no, currently, and they're working on it, but there's no physical location for the WWE Hall of Fame right now.
And there it is. The egomaniac doesn't want to spend a nickel on his fantasy. He can't even put up a building for the decency of the people who he's, quote-unquote, honored. It's a made-up thing in his mind, just like everything up. Made up, poorly organized, and a paper tiger. We're out of here.
Mr. Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.
Thank you to Sean Reed from PugilismCo.com. Also to Beatrice, one of our favorite listeners there. Head over to Facebook, head over to Twitter, type in Duke Loves Wrestling. Let me know what you think of the show.
I'm so sick.
Yeah, I got to get rid of the Boston Bad Boy.
Well, you got me yelling at you because you're being ridiculous.
You're disrespecting Vince McMahon. You're disrespecting the Hall
Vince
of Fame.
McMahon
You're disrespecting the whole
himself
business
and his whole thing. You have
with
no
the
idea.
nonsense.